Okay, you know the feeling. You spend hours, maybe even days, getting a presentation just right. You know your stuff cold, you practice, you get up there, you give it everything you've got, and then crickets. Just blank stares. So let's get into why that happens and, more importantly, how to make sure it never happens again.
It's just the worst feeling, isn't it? Doesn't matter if it's a big boardroom, a classroom, or, just a Zoom call. You're putting all this energy out there, and it just feels like you're talking to a brick wall. You see people on their phones, kind of staring off into space, and you immediately start doubting yourself. And honestly, this is the real fear, right? It's not just about that one moment of awkward silence. It's the thought that after all that hard work, you and your big idea are just gone, completely forgotten the second they leave the room. You become invisible. And that's the exact feeling we're going to fix today. So here's the kicker. Your presentation failing usually has nothing to do with a lack of effort. In fact, it's often because you've worked so hard. The problem is there are a few sneaky, critical mistakes that can quietly sabotage all that work before you even say a single word. It's this maddening disconnect, isn't it, between all the preparation and the actual impact. You've done the work, you've rehearsed your lines, but that spark, that connection, it's just not happening. It feels like your message is just floating away, never quite getting to where it needs to go.
All right, let's break down the first big mistake. And trust me, this one is huge. It's assuming that a great presentation is great for anybody. That is a trap. You could be delivering the most brilliant speech in the world, but if it's for the wrong room, it's gonna bomb.
The solution here is something called audience tailoring. And no, it's not about changing your core idea. It's about changing how you package it. You have to ask yourself, am I talking to experts who want all the nitty-gritty data? Or am I talking to beginners who just need the big picture? Is my audience skeptical and needs hard proof? Or are they already on my side and just need a little inspiration? Answering that changes absolutely everything. And I mean, look at the difference here. It's night and day. A one-size-fits-all presentation is basically a gamble. It makes people feel disconnected, and you end up being totally forgotten. But when you tailor your content, it's like you're having a personal conversation with every single person in the room. They feel seen, they feel heard, and that's when your message doesn't just land, it actually sticks. Okay, on to the second mistake. And this one is about knowing your audience on a much deeper level, a level that honestly most people completely miss. It all comes down to how our brains are actually wired to take in information. No, really, just think about that for a second. What if your default way of presenting was making it almost impossible for most of the people in the room to understand you? It sounds kind of dramatic, but believe me, it happens constantly. So, here's the deal. A whopping 65% of people are visual learners. Our brains are literally built to process images way, way faster than words. So if your whole presentation is just a wall of text or worse, just you talking, you're basically speaking a language that only about a third of the room fluently understands. Just let that number sink in. 65%. That's almost two-thirds of the people you're trying to reach. By not using strong visuals, you're not just making it harder for them, you're pretty much choosing to leave them behind. Okay, so mistake number 3. Let's say you've tailored your message perfectly and you've got some amazing visuals. Awesome. But there's one last piece of the puzzle, making sure your big idea actually sticks in their minds long after you've finished. This really gets to the core of it, doesn't it?
Real impact isn't what you say, it's what your audience remembers you said. I mean, if they can't recall your main point the next day or even an hour later, did you really succeed? Sadly, the answer is no. So, how do you make an idea sticky? Well, you use a super simple but incredibly powerful trick, the rule of three. Our brains are just wired to love this pattern. First, in your opener, you tell them what you're going to tell them. Frame it up. Then, in the body of your presentation, you tell them. And finally, in your summary, you tell them what you just told them. It sounds almost too simple, but this structure acts like a roadmap for their brains, making your main message incredibly easy to follow and, most importantly, to remember. So, we've walked through the three big reasons why even the best prepared presentations can fail. Now let's put it all together. Let's build a simple, actionable game plan that will take you from feeling ignored to being completely unforgettable. Here it is. This is your new checklist. Your 3 commandments for every single presentation you give from this day forward. 1. Know your audience and customize your message for them. 2. Show, don't just tell. Engage their eyes. And 3. Make your ideas stick by using that simple rule of 3. You know, this is the goal. This is the transformation. It's about moving past that anxiety, that fear of being judged or being forgotten, and stepping into a place of confidence. A place where you command the room, you earn respect, and your ideas don't just get heard, they actually make things happen. Okay, so let's make this real. You probably have a meeting or a presentation coming up. Maybe next week, maybe tomorrow. What is the one thing, just one, that you're going to do differently now that you know this? Because becoming a presenter that people remember, that doesn't start someday. It starts right now with your very next talk.